welcome back. This is episode 2 of McElroy Library. I'm Jacob McElroy, former future professor of English, film, etc. I'm unboxing some books. I moved from Florida to Virginia. My thousands of comic books, my hundreds of books, they're in boxes. I gotta get them out of those boxes and onto my shelves. Those shelves collectively are known as McElroy Library, and this is the show for unboxing those things for now. I don't know yet what we're going to do after we open up all those boxes, but there's lots of time to figure that out because there's a lot of boxes. All right, so I've got a box next to me. Last time we did some academic books. We did like some of Will and Ariel Durant's The Story of Civilization. Good stuff. And now I'm just going to open up this box. It's right here next to me. And then let's see what's in there. Ooh, comics. All right, so, guys, I love comic books. I also hate them, which tells you I really love them, right? It's like being a Star Wars fan or something. I love talking about comic books. I love reading them. I like writing about them academically, and I love doing speaking engagements at conventions, which I like to do even when I'm not professoring. Sometimes I'll go to comic book conventions. Previously, I've been at places like MegaCon in Orlando and Ancient City Con in St. Augustine. And we'll see, what I do here now in Virginia. I understand they've got a comic book scene around here too. I'm in the Roanoke area. And so Big Lick Comics and some other stores are around, and they have the Big Lick comic book convention, and who knows, maybe in August I'll see some of you there. We'll see. For now, I get to talk about some of my favorite comic books, and that's exciting for me. All right, so here we have the Compendium Volume 1 edition of Todd McFarlane's Spawn. This is in black and white. This is a way to you can be kind of penciler focused, penciler and inker focused, really, with a nice black and white edition. It's also a way to save money printing this big fucking thing, right? So, wonderful stuff. I have this specifically because my wife, basically right when we started dating, she got me this for Christmas because she had all the Spawn books and a ton of the single issues and everything, really into Spawn. And she was like, I want to share this with you, which immediately made me fall in love with her, right? Absolutely, I will share in your love of Spawn. And I can't tell you how fun it is to see work mixed in with Todd McFarlane on this great creator-owned project. That was a real staple of the 90s, guys. If you weren't there, you don't know, but if you were there, you remember. This has art from people besides Todd McFarlane himself. You got Greg Capullo. You have writing by Alan Moore in here. There are collaborations with like Frank Miller and Dave Sim and Mark Silvestri and even Grant Morrison, all right? So just everyone has touched on Spawn. He's right up there with the big two, the DC Marvel characters. People know Spawn. Damn it. So, hell of a book. Let's continue with another image piece. This one would be Robert Cookman, Charlie Adler, Tony Moore, and Cliff Rathburne's The Walking Dead. This is the first compendium edition. Really riveting stuff. Those of you who know that the show deviates a little, which is good because then you get something new and interesting and different. And this is it's an intense read, man. It is, it's trying, if you are a reader, getting through this. It's riveting, but it's very, very taxing. Strongly recommend if you've got a strong stomach and you're into black and white comic books. Now, this is meant to be in black and white, unlike the big Spawn Compendium edition. I believe Walking Dead as a comic book is typically in black and white with some exceptions. I think I just shook a bunch of dust off this into my face. So it looks like I'm in the kind of creator-owned box, one of many here, because I just pulled out some of my favorite comics of all time, and these are some trade paperback editions of Usagi Yojimbo by Stan Sakai. I have had the great pleasure of meeting Mr. Sakai and getting a little sketch from him and buying some stuff from him at a convention and attending a panel he was supposed to be on in conversation with someone but the person, he was like, Stan Sky was like, well, so-and-so's supposed to be here. Where is, he's not here yet. It's 5 minutes in. And then they see, oh, he's just in the audience. And he says, no, Stan, I'm here to learn. And we all did for the next hour. We learned a great deal about the history of cartooning and really what goes on to that kind of expressive storytelling aspect of just putting ink on paper. Really, really excellent stuff. If you like manga, if you don't like manga, if you love Akira Kurosawa movies or Looney Tunes, it doesn't matter. The whole range is captured in here. I have various editions of differing eras of Usagi Yojimbo. It's another wonderfully, delightfully black and white, except some special color editions and everything. It's a great creator-owned project straight from the 80s. Has great crossovers with the Ninja Turtles. If you have watched various iterations of the Ninja Turtles animated series, you've seen Usagi Yojimbo show up in multi-part special episodes and stuff like that. There's even a adaptation for kids on Netflix where it's like set kind of in a futurist situation. It's not really too closely based on these, but my kids like it and I enjoy watching it too. The characters are just reworked for like kind of a younger demo, and they're in a city, and it's more madcap than it is like fucking Akira Kurosawa and Japanese fantasy and mythology all tied in. Strongly recommend Usagi Yojimbo. So here's a fun little one. I don't remember this being like too big of a series or anything, but it appealed to me and my interest in martial arts stories primarily. And so this is Fight for Tomorrow by Brian Wood, Dennis Cowan, and Kent Williams. Now, Dennis Cowan, oh my God, what a legend. Like, his run with Denny O'Neil on The Question is some of the best stuff not only ever put out by DC, but ever put out in the comic book format, damn it. Really, his art is wonderful, and it's wonderful in this as well. He is a martial artist himself. He has experience with that, so he's able to really convey the dynamics of for lack of a better term, kung fu, man. It's a kung fu comic book. All right, Fight for Tomorrow. It's basically, it's about a dude who he has to fight. That's his whole life. He's like a slave to this mafia situation, and he just has to constantly fight. He's raised just to fight. What does that do to a person? How does that break a person down? It's an interesting book. Strongly recommend. All right, we're down to 2 different creators taking up the rest of this particular box. I'm going to go with one that he might be my favorite, all right? And the reason I'm going with him is because the person who comes after him also might be my favorite, but has had more time in the industry and is slightly more of a legend and greatly inspired the person who I'm about to talk about next. All right, here we have several books from the wonderful Kabuki series by David Mack. And I mean, what can you say about David Mack and Kabuki? It can be so entertaining, such a wonderful mishmash of genres in a way, where you have, especially as it's set up in the first one, Circle of Blood, which was like his college thesis, essentially. You have this combination of futurism and the Japanese aesthetic, which he's actually well studied in and not just sort of a tourist. But at the same time, it's like so deeply personal and singular and universal. it's so hard to explain. I got to meet him a couple of times, and the one time that I saw him, he was like, "Well, here's the newest one," which unfortunately is not in this deck, but so we'll find it another time. But basically goes, "Here's the newest one. You should buy it." And I go, "Yeah, all right, I should buy it. I will buy it." And I bought it, and he goes, "Tell me what you think about it," which I took for whatever reason as like a personal challenge. I went back to my hotel room at this con, and I just read it in one sitting, essentially. The next day I saw him and I said, revelatory. Like, that book was revelatory, and that's the only way I could describe it. And the books leading up to that particular book are similarly revelatory, similarly personal, singular, while being universal. Just for the sake of the video, volume 1 here, is called Circle of Blood. And then we have volume 2, which is Dreams. Volume 3 is Skin Deep. And the more he goes on, the more he has like collaborations with other artists and writers and stuff, but it's still a very personal project. And then his Metamorphosis, very wonderful stuff. And then we have here one that winds up focusing a little more on one of the other characters, and that's a Scarab right here. So, David Mack, Kabuki, read it. The Usagi Yojimbo books, just for the sake of posterity, we have book 3 right here. Delightful. We have book 4, similarly delightful, and of course book 5. Now these are all from early on in the series, and it's gone on to great length and great success, and I'm definitely going to be finding more of these in more boxes. All right, still on this creator-owned tip, to some extent, we're going with a legend, an absolute legend here. Someone David Mack would cite as like an ultimate level inspiration, right? We're talking about Frank Miller, none other than the man himself. And here's his Ronin. And this is the updated cover in his more recent style, you know, more like the early 2000s style that he was doing, not what he does right now, which is even more kind of minimalistic, but also expressive, and there's a lot of debate about it, but I appreciate it. But his stuff from the 80s with Lynn Varley is just exquisite, you know. With or without Klaus Janson, I think Klaus Janson is a great co-artist essentially with Miller on a lot of their work together, especially from Daredevil to The Dark Knight Returns. But this is like Frank Miller's, you know. This was him with a great appreciation for manga, not a lot of which was in translation yet at the time when he started to appreciate it, as well as the proliferation of ninja and samurai karate movies and stuff like that, which I'm a giant fan myself, and we can talk about those later down the road. So this is essentially Samurai Jack. I don't know how else to explain it. Genndy Tartakovsky probably has addressed that in interviews. I'm not really sure. I haven't done that research. Let me know in the comments, I guess. But yeah, Frank Miller's Ronin is a future story, and a samurai is essentially magically transported to fight a demon who controls the government and corporations and military simultaneously. So, you know, a documentary. A while after Ronin, a while after Dark Knight Returns, a while after, you know, a handful of things in the 80s, Frank Miller found himself in a film noir mood. And he gave us the delightful, entertaining, whimsical, and totally safe for kids series, Sin City. Great movie, co-directed by him and Robert Rodriguez. And these are the books that they're based on. You know? So here we have the first one, which is The Hard Goodbye, a reference, of course, to The Long Goodbye. And then you have book 2, A Dame to Kill For. All right. Book 3 is The Big Fat Kill. Book 4, That Yellow Bastard. This one gets especially fun with how he plays with color occasionally. Yeah. And then we have book 5, Family Values. All right, fun stuff. And book 6 is Booze, Broads, and Bullets, and this is more of a collection of short stories that appeared in various spots. Sin City it has a kind of a floating episodic timeline going on where Marv, who's the star of the first book, dies in the book, spoiler, but he will pop up in scenes in other books, indicating, of course, that those other books take place before he dies. And then capping off Sin City is probably the one that's the most like a real graphic novel, because it's just from beginning to end. It's one story. It's not very episodic. It's not even very serial. It's hard to explain. But this is Hell and Back, which is a hell of a book. All right, that's been episode 2, and we've now opened 2 boxes. And let me know if you've read or enjoyed, or even if you've hated. Let's talk about it. Let's you know, there's valid criticism out there for any of these things I just talked about. Let's talk about it in the comments. All right, thanks for watching.